I am in my new 1997 Land Cruiser, and heading to my girlfriend's house. And this is tax time, right? It's always the worst time. You got to pay your taxes, and this is going to probably be in the dark somewhat. Here, I'll turn the light for just a little bit. Some of the things that you should be doing right now. If you've got equity in a property, you're going to have some investor cash to take. You should probably. It's getting a little bit late on that, so I've been getting some of my tax, tax assessor reports, and I can tell you that I've seen a 15% drop on a lot of the residential property that I own. Some of the commercial property that I own has gone up not too bad. I'm actually going to court again on some other stuff. I've got a jackass system over here with some of the properties that I own. Terrible county. Anyways, but I'll be dealing with that. But I'll give you an example. I've got a property that's worth $1.9 million, maybe $2 million. I paid $1 million for it, and it's worth $2 million probably. But they've got it assessed at $4 million, and it's not worth $4 million. But they're happy to tax me on $4 million. And these are kind of rich people problems, to be quite honest. And that's okay. I'll spend $5-6 grand. I'll have a certified appraiser that's got much more extensive experience than an appraiser sitting in a county office. Even the county offices, believe me, when you go to court, and believe me, I fight taxes all the time, and they have to hire outside. In other words, they don't even get the respect of being a good appraiser because they're not good appraisers. And so they have to hire better than themselves as well. And unfortunately, the way some of these appraisals work, they're like a hit job. It's like I've talked to you guys about inspection reports. You get an inspection report, and it's a hit job. You're beating up the seller so that you can get a better price. And look, I've done it before. Also, people try to do it to me, but if you know what you're doing, none of that shit works. So, but back on subject here, what to do right now if you're an average investor, or if you're maybe you're a couple and you're going to buy a property, which I urge you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Very important. You'll learn a lot here. I've been buying property for 42 years. Hard for me to believe, but I started very young, and that's why even at 61 years old, I'm not that old, and I can still, express how to make a deal and the things that have led me to the wealth that I have. But it never changes. It's always the same. In other words, once in a while I hear somebody say, "Oh, I wish I could have bought property back when you did. Like those were the good old days." No, listen, these are the good old days. Today is the good old days. Anything you're doing today, trust me, it's going to be like the good old days in the future. In other words, it's always the same. Listen, if you overpay for a property, and believe me, people get screwed on what they paid for in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 30s. You can always pay too much. People have sucker written on their forehead, and people take advantage of them. And obviously, there's a lot of fake gurus out there that just, the YouTube watchers are just red meat. They chew them up because they're gullible and they're just not very bright, unfortunately. And so that's why a lot of times I'll say, give me people that are 30, 40, 50 years old, because I don't want the gullible. I want the sensible person that understands that maybe they have 100 grand or $200,000 or $300,000 in their bank account, and they realize, oh shit, this ain't enough. I'm not going to be able to put my 2, 3, 4 kids through college and retire. Well, I want you to be able to do that. And listen, I wrote a book. I don't have the book to hold up. Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. If you're a first-time watcher here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Helps the channel, but number one, it'll help you. I've been buying property, and I really don't even know anybody like myself. I have one buddy, Doug, 15 years older than me, and he's done really well as well. But not that many people that have been buying property for 40 years, residential, commercial, industrial, apartment buildings, commercial strip centers, trailer parks, individual homes, lots, acreage, farms, ranches. I've done all that stuff. And that is why I tell people I'm the most relevant investor you could find, because I buy the same kinds of properties that most of you watching right now can afford. Yeah, I buy multi-million-dollar properties too. But while I'm buying multi-million-dollar properties, those are fewer. That's like a big nugget, right? Like the size of my fist, okay? But the money, a lot of the money is in the tiny ones, meaning 100 to 400 grand. And so I've bought a lot of properties in the last, forever. I buy a lot of single family homes, and I'll make 100 grand on a home. And that's why I'll buy multiple homes, during the year while I'm looking for an industrial property or a commercial property. Today I got a video going to come out too later on. Hey, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, helps the channel. But anyways, I was touring some concrete tilt-up, which 10th grade dropout, if you're out there, I haven't heard from you lately, please respond. Please send me an email. But I was looking at some, on average, 30 to 40,000 square foot concrete tilt-up buildings. And I'm going to have a nice video on that, by the way, because I have a tenant that I'm going to build. He needs about 15,000 square feet next to the 15,000 square feet that he already rents from me. And I talked about tenant loyalty the other day and landlord loyalty the other day in a quick video that I put out. And it's a thing. Trust me, it's a thing. People like to know familiarity. People like familiarity. It gives them a sense of relief. They know who they're talking to. They know who they can trust. When somebody you've dealt business with for a long time, they do everything they say they're going to do. It makes you feel comfortable doing business with them in the future. And I'm talking about the landlord-tenant relationship. You have tenants that have a tough time, and you help them through it, and then they stick with you. They stay forever. And likewise, whatever. Maybe you have an air conditioner go out, or your tenant's uncomfortable for, an unreasonable amount of time that's beyond your control, but you make it right, and you take care of them. And, oh man, I got some weird stuff. You guys got to see this. I have no idea.